Hello. Today we'll be playing Heart of Amethyst. So we cover both Almond and Colossus routes. So the only route left to cover is Rodrick. It may be scary and he wouldn't be a lot of help in the research. But I need his muscle to cover my back. What if some other jerk like Eddie shows up? I'll need him to stay close to me. Speaking of that, could you please tell him to come? His ears drop down and he tucks his tail between his legs. It pains my heart to see him like this, but this is too important for me. I need someone more trustworthy by my side. The hell do you want? As up in place as I hear the wolf talk, he's standing by the door, Zack a few steps behind him. I offer them a smile as I dry up with my sword. You could be a little nicer, you know. I went through that mess because of you, after all. Whatever you say, what? What do you want? Fine. Zack, will you mind leaving us alone, please? The little dog nods back and then walks out of the room, closing the door behind him. The black wolf leans on the wall and keeps his eyes glued to me, probably expecting me to open up the conversation. See, why does he make any sort of communication so hard? So I have a favor to ask you. It is an order from the king, but he wants me to ask someone for help. So I thought you could be the one. The wolf raises an eyebrow and eyes me down inexpressively. What's the order? He asks with a cold but not aggressive voice. Rodrick's probably not mad about following the king's order, just a little annoyed by it probably. He said that you should go with me to the academy tomorrow to be my guide. Is that what he said? Oh, not exactly. Then what did he say exactly? I don't not wanted to say it out. Not wanted to say it at all because I know it probably sounds dumb and he'll get even madder. But there's no turning back now. He's already here after all. Okay, so we have to deliver a letter for the king. It's extremely important. That's why I'm supposed to ask for another retainer's help. And well, we're supposed to leave tomorrow. Rodrick for the third time raises his eyebrow and looks at me with an annoyed expression in his eyes. I'm supposed to be by the king's side when he leads towards the city. As someone else. The wolf moves from the wall he was leaning in and turns around to leave. But I can't let him leave like this. I must find a way to convince him. Wait. I manage to make him stop and the knight turns around slowly. Oh boy, better play this carefully. There's more to it than just that. The letter is just a little errand that I must do, but the real reason for us to leave tomorrow is information gathering. Here, I'll show you. I move to the bed and take the medal, then I'll show it to the wolf. A church insignia. Yeah, exactly. Wait, what? The wolf snaps it out of my hand and then inspects it carefully, playing with his beard and tilted his head. He seems to be a little confused about something. And if he's confused, I'm even more lost. No, maybe I'm wrong. It's similar, but I've never seen this symbol. Hold on, you say you recognize this? Please, can you tell me more about it? Is this what the kings ask you to investigate? It's simple. The kind of crafting can only be made by the church blacksmiths. It's only given to holy missionaries, priests, and knights, each with a different symbol. That's why I think this is a fake. This doesn't look like any of the other 3 holy symbols. But it could be a lead. It's something to the very least. I have to convince Rodrick to come with me somehow. He could know something or even use his influence to get me in the church. Hopefully. Still, the king wants to know any information regarding this. Maybe there's a band of impersonators who use this metal. Hmm, that could be, but Rodrick, please, I'm begging you, please help me with this. I feel my heart is about to get out of my chest. I need this. I need it pretty bad. Well, what do you even want me to do, what? Well, maybe you can get us into the church, ask a few questions or whatever. It doesn't matter, and the information is worth a try. The wolf looks taken aback by my desperation as he eyes me down with surprise, so I decide to turn it down. I'm sorry. Look what, not even I can get you into the church. They're a very closed lot. But I suppose if we were to report the creation of these fake metals, we could probably get an audience. But really? Can we do that? Roger sighs and nods, crosses his arms as he looks down on me, which is not hard for him to do. Alright then, if it's so important for you, I guess I can help. The other two will have to take care of the king's safety. You can stop looking at me. You'll crave a hold to my skull, what? Ah, sorry. Look at why you feeling my cheeks glow a little red from the embarrassment. And here I thought I was supposed to turn it down. Tomorrow, dawn, don't be late. Get to bed early. Yes, sir. With that said, Rodrick moves past me, past my shoulder, and then says nothing else. I believe our conversation is over, but the wolf stops before opening the door. You did a good job today. We'll keep practicing. And now, after saying that, he opens the door and leaves for good. Meanwhile, I just stand still on the spot, trying to process the happiness I'm feeling. I'm one step closer to knowing the truth. And the best part is that I'll have someone as strong as Rodrick by my side. When I get to bed, though, I don't want to get my bones broken if I make him wait. You're late, so I had to make sure I wake that idiot and let him know the situation. I also notified Carlos yesterday. They'll take care of the king in my place. Why, you mind? He crosses his arms and gives me that same Rodrick look that freezes my bones. No, sir, I'm just glad you're here. Good. Now get on that ship. We need to get moving. Yes, sir. The shops were all filled with people, either trying to buy the ingredients for lunch or lunch itself. That's why there was a delicious mix of aromas in the air. I can also notice there are a high amount of luxurious shops around. Jewelry stores, bookshops, boutiques, and the meat. It smells fresh unlike the one in the lower city. The houses are also a huge shock. They are built in stone rather than wood, and they are incredibly tall. Most houses have 2 floors and some even have 3. Everything looks cleaner as well. The paths are made of stone. Hmm. This is a whole different world. One that don't have time for sightseeing. Hurry up. Wolf yells from behind me, but I don't turn around. I stand in place, feeling my cheeks growing red. Can he, for once, not treat me like a child? Geez, we're in public. Give a second, man. This is my first time here. I can hear the night grunting loudly from behind me, but I don't care. What's so important anyway? In case you forgot, we have stuff to do. It's just so different from where I came from, you know? Kind of shocking to see such a tidy place. I suppose. Wolf says nothing else. He just looks around and grunts a few times. Usual Rodrick behavior. Do you grow up here? No. That's just impossible. Are you done? I roll my eyes and nod, deciding to comply with the wolf's desires. Might as well, or else he's going to be pissy all morning. The innkeeper received us with a huge smile as soon as we told him that the king had a message for him. The old dog assured us that he had been waiting for months to get this letter, and he thanked us kindly for the trouble. To me, he looked like a good man, but there was something weird about his attitude and the whole secrecy with the letter. I don't know, maybe I'm just being too paranoid. Either way, we didn't get much time to meet him properly, as he insisted that there was some cleaning to be done. He told us to come back later after sunset. According to him, he would have our room and a delicious meal ready for us. So with that settled, we now have the rest of the afternoon for us. Roger proposed to go to a nearby church so we could try and talk to someone there, and while that is a perfect idea, I have other plans in mind. I want to meet up with Mrs. Biscotti. I need to make sure that the old man is fine, and I want to apologize to him. I'm sorry for this. I didn't want to shut down your plans. Doesn't matter. I just hope you know what you're doing. We're wasting a whole day. Yeah, I know, but I need to do this. Suit yourself then. I'll uphold my promise to accompany you. Don't expect me to do anything else. Thanks, that's more than enough. Shall we? The day seems to be a little cloudy, but personally I don't think it will rain until later tonight, so we should be good. We go through a big gate and then pass a small river that divides the high city from the lower one. The contrast between the two is noticeable, and now that I've seen the other side, I can't help but notice it even more. It angers me a little, but now is not the time for this. I must focus on what I came here to do. Anyway, we've been walking for at least an hour since we left the high city. Roger followed me closely, but never talked to me until it was around this corner, wasn't it? Wolf had stopped a few steps behind me, looking into the distance. I turned around and approached him, taking a look to what he was watching. And perhaps I shouldn't have, because I immediately met by the sight of a burnt building. Guilt starts to set in, as I can't help but feel awful when I think about the many lives we endangered that day. And this house will stay here to remind me of my stupidity. The silence between us begins to feel extremely uncomfortable, so I decide to turn around and walk away. Wolf sighs and follows behind me, not saying a word or even making a single sound. The walk turned into a silent and awkward stroll through the city. I want to say something, but what can I even say? Sorry? I've said that a million times and it never seems to be enough. I have acknowledged you all. I have acknowledged you as a decent person, what? So don't feel like I'll keep on throwing shit at you forever. Wolf's voice gives me all my thoughts, directing all my attention towards it. The past month has been more than enough for me to notice that you're not a bad guy. You're just incredibly stupid. Still, this was a perfect opportunity for you to see the consequences of your actions with your own eyes. Now that you've seen them, there's nothing left for me to say. After saying that, he slaps my back with a lot of force, almost making me drop to the ground. Now chill up, you look like an idiot. He moves past me and starts to walk in direction to the south. Was this his way of telling me that he likes me now? What a weird man he is. As we get closer to our destination, a sensation in my guts starts to settle. I can't really describe it. It's like a combination of dread, guilt, and excitement. My heart is also starting to beat faster as I'm not even sure what I'm going to tell him. So what? Do I just show up and say, "Hey, Mrs. Biscotti, sorry for vanishing for a month, but I'm fine. Want to eat pork and drink some beer? Had a great conversation starter, you idiot." The hell's wrong with you? The wolf says behind me, making me stop on my tracks to look over my shoulder and meet his eye. Huh? You look like you're about to puke. I don't know what you mean. The wolf suddenly wasn't buying it, and he raised his eyebrow at me and crossed his arms. I thought you were supposed to be happy to see him. I am. Bullshit. What will you know? Before I noticed, I responded to him angrily. I waited myself for the retaliation, looking away and closing my eyes. But as long as I wait, the yelling never comes. Instead of that, when I open my eyes, I just see Rodrick smirking at me. Heh, you're right, Rod. I don't know. To be honest, I don't care much about this. So let's go then. Get this over with. This feels different than our usual interactions, and I don't like it one bit. This time I feel like the asshole. He was worried, wasn't he? In his own weird way, he was. The wolf just wanted to check in on me, and I stood him out like that. So, not wanting to feel like the asshole anymore, I decided to speak up my mind. I'm nervous, okay? I don't know what the old man's reaction will be, if he'll even be happy to see me. I screwed up really bad, and I'm scared. The wolf smirks again, which only helps to increase the feeling of uneasiness in my chest. He's really acting weird today. It's always the same with you. Have you noticed? What? Let me ask you something, Ron. What do you feel when I told you about the fight with Eddie? I don't answer a damn question. His self-personality returned, and to be honest, it feels better when he talks to me like that. It's not so quippy. It's not so quippy to put it somehow. I was scared. Exactly. And what did you feel when the king told you that you were going to stay at the island? I was scared, indeed. So imagine if I had a golden cord for every time you sit your pants whenever you face a new challenge. Then I will probably be richer than the king himself. I've told you many times to grow some balls, and this will not be the exception. So grow some balls and go talk to that man. You owe him that much. With that said, the wolf leans on the wall nearby and closes his eyes. He is clearly done with the conversation, so I expect that and say nothing else. Not like I had anything to say back. The wolf read me like a book, and he was right about most of the things he said. I'll follow his advice, though. I need to speak to Mrs. Biscotti no matter what. With that in mind, I enter the shop. As I'm about to bring the candle down, I feel a strong grip on my wrist. Looking back, I see Rodrick looking at me with a severe expression on his face. When did he even get here? I try to struggle out his grasp, but his iron fist won't let me go anywhere. Are you sure you want to cross that line, Ron? Because after you do, there's no turning back. The eyes of the dead will follow you even in your dreams. You'll have to carry that weight until you die. He lets go of my arm and then takes a few steps back, giving me enough space for me to do whatever I must do. Although I don't feel that burning rage anymore, I just feel empty and sad at this point. I take a look at Pat's eyes and notice that there's no light left in there. Light left. Fear immediately washes over me, scared that I killed the man. I drop on my knees and as I let go of his neck. He falls like a sack of potatoes and remains still on the floor. I reach his side and try to check if he is still breathing, and luckily he is. Good choice. Killing isn't your style. I really wanted to kill him, though. There was this rage inside me. I didn't feel like me, but at the same time, I knew that it was fueled by my inner wishes, and my eyes start to water as I can't contain this overflowing amount of emotions I'm feeling. It was his fault, but I should have known better, so I have no one else to blame but me. I made that decision. Nobody forced me to do it. And now Mrs. Biscotti got involved into all of this. He's in danger because of me. And I'm so used to. Suddenly, I feel a hand rubbing my head. Rodrick is awkwardly looking at me like he doesn't even know what he's doing. He keeps on scratching my head. I must admit, it has a calming effect. This silly act makes me go over the edge, helping me unload all those pent-up emotions that I've been holding for the past month. Heck, even the past. Remember when was the last time I cried this much? We remained like that for a while, and the more he scratches, the more my tail keeps on wagging. His hand feels warm and nice, leaving a nice sensation in my head when he finally lifts it up. I look up to meet his eyes, and for some reason he still looks uncomfortable. Is this his first time scratching a head or something? Then he calmed down. Yeah, a little. Thanks. Don't mention it. No, seriously, don't. The wolf says that he takes a step back from me. He dusts his armor and then waits for me to get up from the floor. Let's go. Yeah. I tried my hardest to get up from the floor, but my knees feel like jelly and I end up back on it. And no matter how hard I try, I just don't have the strength to do it. Yeah, this is so frustrating. Oh, for goddess' sake, just climb. He crouches with his back facing me. My cheeks blush a deep tone of pink, and as this makes me feel really embarrassed. To think that he even has to walk for me, how lame. But on the other hand, a piggy bite doesn't sound so bad. So pushing my pride down, I climb onto his back, crossing my arms against his neck and pressing my face on the back of his neck. I've never been this close to the night, and immediately his strong masculine scent captivates me. It's so different to what I had pictured. I always thought he would smell earthy and sweaty. After all, he uses heavy armor most of the day. But I'm not surprised he's got a different smell combined with his musk. It's vanilla. It's perfume. Alright, here we go. You ready, by the way? Not forgetting anything? No, it's fine. We can go. The wolf nods and then starts walking. I hold tight onto his neck, not wanting to fall and hit my ass. Eventually, we leave it all behind. The stop, pat, and the anger. All of it. I suspected being carried by another man on the street was bound to draw a few looks. I feared that Rodrick would drop me at any given second, but to my surprise, he never did. He actually paid no mind to the people who looked at us weirdly and just carried on towards the city. At the time, I was feeling a little embarrassed, but the comfort of the wolf made me forget all my social inhibitions, at least until we made it past the bridge of the higher city. Because as soon as we crossed, rain started to fall upon the city. The wolf dropped me to my feet and told me to run for it, which I did, even if I really didn't want to. I say to Rodrick as I take off my pants. I decided to not wet the floor of our room with my clothes, taking most of them off before I set foot inside. On the other hand, the wolf didn't give two fucks about the floor since he entered the room with his full set of armor still on. I sighed the idea of being forced to mop the floor. Suddenly I don't feel like doing it at all, but I'm sure the wolf won't offer himself to take the job. Doesn't matter, we're done for the day. Rodrick says in his usual tone of voice as he turns around to meet my eyes. He raises an eyebrow at me and crosses his arms, looking at me as if I had gone completely insane. I do the same in return, clearly annoying him. What? Care to explain why you are naked? Huh? The wolf outputting stare suddenly makes me feel exposed and insecure, as if I were performing some forbidden action. I just didn't want to get the room wet. The wolf looks down and finally notices the puddle that has formed where he's standing. Something seems to click inside of him, and he seems to notice his mistake. I see. didn't think about it that way. Rodrick sighs as he begins to take pieces of his armor off of him. He starts by unbuttoning the belts of his arm protectors, then as he takes those off, he also removes the piece that covers his elbows. The boots come next, and let me tell you, those days look heavy as fuck. How can he even manage to walk around wearing those? Must be quite uncomfortable. Hey. His voice snaps me out of my thoughts and makes my eyes fall on his own. Those big red orbs that I've seen so many times by now. It's not so. Beat it. Sorry. I turn around. My cheeks are a little flustered, but did I really stare for that long? I didn't even notice. So for the next 5 minutes, I just stared at the wall until the wolf himself called for me. Hey, what? Need a hand? Oh, yeah, but I thought I was supposed to beat it. I say without turning around, not wanting to make him uncomfortable. Although, being honest, I am probably the only one feeling this way. Don't be a dick, turn around. I do as he says, and I notice that he's got his back turned on me. His arms are trying to reach something that is behind him. Some sort of knot that is tying the shoulder plates to his back. You can't reach? Yes, now shut up and help me. But him either way. And to be honest, seeing him struggle like that is kind of cute. Okay, do I just untie this? Seems really tight though. Yes, get to it. I roll my eyes again but giggle at his antics. He still hates to ask for help, says a grumpy wolf. The knot is quite tight and it takes me a few seconds to properly untie it. I was surprised he couldn't do it himself. But eventually it gives in and the armor falls to the ground with a loud thud. I got scared for a second believing it hit my feet, but it seems like no damage was done. Shit, man, this thing sure is heavy. It's supposed to protect you. What do you expect? Roger begins to stretch his muscles, giving me a full display of his impressive back. His neck, even if covered by fur, is impressively thick, so are his shoulders and upper back. The only spot that is not perfectly toned is his lower back, where a bit of fat can be spotted. And to be honest, it suits him, as it makes him look thicker. But aside from all the muscles, there's something else that gets my attention. A huge scar in the form of an X in the middle of his back. I've seen it a few times, but this is the first time I'm so close to it. The edges of the scar are irregular, and it seems like it didn't really heal properly, and as the skin became too nasty looking. Like my own scar, which is smoother. Suddenly, an odd feeling overtook me, feeling tempted to touch it. I wanted to feel the skin of the wolf. I wanted to understand his pain. Perhaps if I do, he'll finally open up to me. So, as I place my hand on top of him, I try to give it a good brush. Before I can notice, Rodrick turned around violently, hitting the side of his muzzle with the back of his fist. I end up crashing on the floor, hitting my rear in the process. What the hell do you think you're doing? As I look up, I can see the wolf's orbs staring down at me. His eyes are full of hatred, which sends a chill down my spine, as I thought he would never direct such a feeling towards me ever again. I thought we had made some progress. Soon enough, my nose starts to bleed, and I hiss from the pain. I look away and cover my snout with my hand as I try to stand up with the other. The wolf just remains there, as still as a stone. He hasn't said anything or done anything. He's just keeping his eyes glued to me. And when I direct my gaze back at him, what I see surprises me. He seems scared. He looks at me with a terrified expression. The hand that he used to hit me with is shaking a little, and his ears are folded back. This doesn't feel like those times he hit me during the training. For some reason, I can see remorse in his eyes. I don't But I don't understand this. Why is he so scared? What's going through his mind right now? You shouldn't have done that. Fuck. What were you thinking touching another man's back like that? I just wanted to. I need to take some air. With that said, he storms out of the room and slams the door behind him, leaving me all alone with a bleeding nose and a lot of questions. After Rodrick left, I chose to head toward the bathroom to tend my wound and take a much needed shower. I also decided not to give that episode much importance. I've always known the wolf had anger issues, and I was stupid enough to overstep my boundaries. Besides, knowing the wolf, he'll just try to sweep things under the rug, and I'm fine with that. I just want to enjoy the rest of the night, so I take my sweet time in that bathroom, clean myself up for everything that happened today. Eventually, I finish up and then exit the bathroom with my dry underwear back on. As I walk back to our room, I encounter the innkeeper standing by the hallway. When he sees me, his ears perk up and he waves at me. I wave back as he approaches me. When I open the door, I immediately spot a big black figure sitting by the window. He's clearly heard me enter as I see his ears twitching, but looks like he has decided to ignore me for the night. So, with nothing better to do, I sit by the edge of the bed, not saying a word. It's a real saying I bought nothing to entertain myself with. All I can do for now is look at the ceiling and think. And honestly, thinking is the last thing I want to be doing right now. My head is a mess. How's your nose? The voice of the wolf comes out of nowhere and makes me blink a few times as I'm not sure if I imagine it. It's fine. Is it broken? No, I don't think so. It hurts a little though. Here, let me see. The wolf finally turns around to meet my gaze. He walks to my side of the bed and crouches in front of me. He then places his hand on my cheek and applies some pressure. Does it hurt when I do this? Seriously, I'm fine, man. It's nothing. I slap his hand away as I back off a little. What's gotten into him? This is really making me uncomfortable. I mean, he's never given a shit if I was injured or not. How am I even supposed to react like this? Next time I hit you like that, make sure to hit back. That way you won't make me feel so guilty, damn it. The wolf stands up and then walks towards the door. Meanwhile, I just watch his back as he exits the room. Eventually, when the silence sets in and I notice how fast my heart is beating, a thought crosses my mind. Was I fucking blushing? Oh, goddesses, I totally was, wasn't I? That's so embarrassing. Worst thing is, he just touched me for a few seconds, so I don't even want to imagine what would happen if things had escalated. But wait. Escalated? What am I even thinking? This is what we're talking about. Something like that would never happen in a million years. But still, I touched my cheek, trying to remember the feeling of his hand on it. So warm. So how was your bath? Did you enjoy the hot water? I tried to strike up a conversation with the wolf as he returned anything to leave that whole experience behind us. I don't care about that stuff. I just used the water from the barrel. Meaning that he didn't even enjoy the pleasure of washing his fur with hot water. What kind of monster is he? You just wasted a perfect chance to enjoy yourself, you know? The wolf raises an eyebrow and then rolls his eyes as if I was the one in the wrong here. The audacity. Told you, I don't care. Rodrick moves past me and decides to lean against one of the walls. So, do you know a lot of people from the church? What makes you think I do? I mean, we're going there tomorrow. I'm just curious to know if you've got any connections there. Besides, you must have suggested it for a reason, right? It was just the first thing that crossed my mind. Don't give him a thought. I can't help but wonder if that's actually the real reason. But knowing him, no matter how much I pry, in the matter, he won't say a thing. But back to silence, the wolf doesn't show any sign of continuing the conversation. So I decided to respect his wishes and just lay in bed, my back turned to him. A few minutes pass, and the wolf just stands there without moving or saying a word. Ugh, it's so unbearable to think that he's just standing there. How does he manage to make all our interactions uncomfortable as fuck? So annoying. Perhaps I should talk to him about something. So how's Eddie? Why do you ask? Just humor me. He took a deep blow to his ego. The bastard was so angry that he refused to get his bruise checked. Yeah, good to know. I feel a certain sense of accomplishment as to hear Rodrick say that. The bastard had it coming. You did well in that fight. Try your best and it sold. Thanks, I had a good teacher. I turned back and wound to face him, catching a glimpse of his smile. Good teacher, I just had to hit you a few times until I got something useful out of you. Nothing to it. I chuckled his response. Did Rodrick just make a joke? The world must be upside down. Any skilled swordsman could have done it, really. Yeah, but you're really good, man. None of the knights I've seen have a skill such as yours. Think about that. Eddie mentioned that you were one of the best swordsmen in the entire kingdom. Was he exaggerating? People just like to run their mouths. Maybe. Or maybe they say it for a reason. You must have done something to earn you the title of best swordsman. Don't you think? No, not really. Not really a title. I'm just a good knight, that's all. I kept the people safe. I've bled on the battlefield like everyone else, and I buried my loved ones like any soldier. There's nothing special about me. Dang, this took a dark turn pretty quick. So he's lost someone on the field, huh? I wish I could ask him about it, but I know he would just evade my question. He wouldn't answer at all. Silence soon fills the room, but I don't want to give up on the conversation just yet. I feel like this is one of those rare moments in which Rodrick is actually willing to talk with me. So now I wanted to waste this chance. I waited myself for the next question since I haven't been able to think of nothing else about after what happened at the start with Pat. So, there's something I've wanted to ask you. What does it feel like? Killing, I mean. The wolf remains silent, and sadly I can't really read his expression. The first time is hard. You feel dizzy, your arms shake, and the nausea is unstoppable. I can only imagine how traumatic it must be to witness someone's life wither away in front of you. And worst of all, by your own hand. If Rodrick hadn't stopped me that time, I would be. Then it gets easier. You begin to consider it less. They just become a count that you keep in your head until eventually there are too many to count. If you killed a lot of people working as a royal knight, not as a royal knight. I want to ask him more about the topic when the wolf moves from his wall and extinguishes the candles. He then turns at me and says, "Give me the blanket. I'll sleep on the floor." That takes me by surprise, as I was expecting him to take the other side of the bed. I mean, he's huge, and the bed's not that big. But I'm sure we can fit in if we squeeze together. Although personally, I'm not sure how he would take that idea. He doesn't like personal contact one bit, and as far as I know, he could hit me in my sleep if I'm not careful. Still, am I really going to let this man sleep on the floor for my sake? I'll still just invite him over. The floor is way too cold even for him. Besides, he will also get an awful backache. I would know. So sighing deeply, I move a little closer to the edge of the bed, hopefully giving the wolf enough space for him to lie down. Hop on, I say as I pat the empty spot beside me. The wolf decides to give me a confused look before grunting. We're not sleeping in the same bed, what? So, would you rather sleep on the cold floor with getting sick? Stop being so uptight and get over here. I promise I won't bite you or anything, so don't worry about that. We will need to find a comfortable position for both of us, though. I mean, have you seen how big you are? Clearly, we'll have to squeeze together so we fit. But just for the sake of sleeping comfortably, don't get any weird ideas. For I care, you can just sleep on the floor and get back pains. It's not like it's my problem or anything. Like, I'm actually trying to take care of you. But will you shut the fuck up if I just say yes? The wolf interrupts me in the middle of my speech, making me blush as it made me notice how much I ran my mouth. Gosh, why am I getting nervous all of a sudden? It's not like I actually care if he sleeps on the floor or not. I'm just trying to be nice, right? The wolf takes his pants off without a warning, and I can't help but blush. He's not using a robe like most people. He's wearing a very thick-looking undergarment that only covers his junk, which is quite impressive if I may say so. It makes me feel a little tiny in comparison. Without a second thought, Rodrick drops on the bed, making it creak with our combined weight. The wolf then lays with his back turned to me on his side of the bed, which, let's be honest, is at least 70% of the entirety of it. Following his example, I'll also lay completely bare on top of the bed. I feel like I'm going to fall off the bed, so I carefully try to move back, but to no one's surprise, the wolf's back blocks my path to safety. I want to tell him to move, but I fear that he'll react badly to my complaint, so I remain quiet instead. It seems like it will be a difficult night, so I try to get a head start and fall asleep. When as I close my eyes, I hear the wolf moving around. He tries to move back into the bed, but luckily for me, he notices that I'm here and he stops. Because if he had carried on with that, I would be kissing the floor right now. Hey, what? Got any space left on your side? Are you kidding me? I'm on the edge of the bed. I knew this was a bad idea. Rodrick decides to tilt a little more on his side of the bed. Turn around and we can get comfortable together. I'm not hugging you, what? Then enjoy your night as is. Fine. I hear and feel the wolf turning on the bed, taking him a few seconds since he's quite heavy. I'm so sorry, Mr. Bed. When he's finally facing me, I feel a huge empty space behind me. So not wanting to fall off, I move back a little until I eventually stop by Rodrick's belly and hard as rock pecs. He also gets comfortable, getting one of his arms under my head and placing the other on top of me, using his hand to hold my chest with an iron grip. My heart skips a beat as a certain familiar scent hits my nose. The wolf's musk is quite strong since he didn't take a complete bath after we made it back. That musk combined with the vanilla perfume he uses makes my nose go to overdrive mode, making me wish I was turned to the other side so I could smell the fluff on his neck, or his chest. After a few seconds passed, I decided to place myself a little closer to him, press my butt on his belly, my back on his front. His warmth is really close and making me feel as if I'm wrapped in a nice blanket. His arm's muscles are so firm that I can't help but give them a squeeze as I voice the wolf. Say so, damn it. I want to fucking sleep. Sorry. I say, finally noticing how much of a horn dog I am. This is going to be a difficult night. I hope I get some sleep at least. The next morning, a ray of light wakes me up from my sleep. It's coming from the window on top of the head. The next morning, a ray of light wakes me up from my sleep. It's coming from the window on top of the bed. As I open my eyes, I notice the wooden ceiling of the room. I stretch my body, feeling a little sore after falling asleep on the table last night. Honestly, I don't know what I was thinking then. Wait a minute. I was in the main hall last night, so then, how the fuck did I end up here? I stand up from the bed with a jump, feeling weird about just being there. Think, Ellie, think. Did I walk back up? Perhaps I sleepwalked. I've heard some people do that when they lose their minds. I might actually be losing it, all things considered. What am I? As the morning drowsiness starts to vanish, my thoughts begin to settle and my mindset changes from stupid to less stupid. That's when I notice the absence of a certain wolf who should be here since he supposedly slept here last night. Could it be that he carried me all the way back? Dang it, that would be so embarrassing, but it's the only logical explanation. Because I doubt any of the other guests would even have the key to open this room. Fuck, why didn't he wake me up? Now he's going to think I'm a useless pup. As if he needs another reason to think that. As my mind tries to come up with an excuse to tell the wolf, I notice a piece of paper laying on top of the desk. As I expected, I noticed that it was probably written in a hurry since the handwriting looks awful. What? Winter Harbor, don't follow me and go do something useful for your morning. The short note doesn't tell me much, but at least now I know where Rodrick is. I wonder what reason he could probably have to go to a place like that, and why wouldn't he want to be followed? Besides, I thought the king had arranged it so we would be free today. Then why? Could it be a juicy secret? Suddenly the idea of Rodrick doing something naughty fills me with glee. He's always so uptight about rules and whatnot that this is like finding a three-legged chicken. My mind immediately jumps to all the possibilities since I hardly know a thing about him. Since he's the leader of a contraband gang, maybe he's the leader of a contraband gang, he's been keeping it a secret as he acts like the good old captain of the Royal Guards. Or perhaps he's got a secret lover he's planning to run away with her on a boat. I decide that I must find out if any of my assumptions are correct. So dressing up as fast as I can and set forward on my new adventure. What a wonderful idea I just had. I'll do exactly the opposite of what he asked me to do. What could go wrong? The dogs look and smell just as I remember them. Fishy. A bunch of illegal activities are conducted in this area. There are as many thieves as there are clouds in the sky, so each merchant has to be really careful with their goods. Also, half of these boats are pirates who bring their contraband from other parts of the world. You can also see many whores running around as well, trying to lure new and old clients into their business. There are at least 5 or 6 whore houses in this area, and the worst criminals of them are all knights themselves. They intimidate the merchants into paying ridiculous fees that they are not obligated to pay. Besides, if someone speaks up or tries to defend themselves, they will use force without doubting it. Yes, this is the environment in which I spent most of my teenage years back in the day. I can't even remember how many times we got chased by the guards after messing up with them. We used to throw horse poop at their heads, and sometimes we even hit them on the back of the knee as we passed them running. Like, I'm not proud of stealing from others, but being able to mess with the knights was the only fun part of being in that gang. That being said, I haven't seen Rodrick even once, and I've been looking for at least an hour. Makes me wonder if he's been slacking off on the job, or if he's even here at all. As I continue walking, I decide to borrow some of the sobs. Sometimes you can find real gold in here. Like that one time I bought a magical monkey hand that grants wishes. I'm still waiting for my wish to come true, but I have faith. I know I'll grow taller one of these days. Him. It was him. Go after him. Oh wow, sounds like someone's in trouble. I'm just glad. Got you now, you little rat. Before I can acknowledge what was happening, I suddenly don't feel the floor on my feet anymore. A strong force picked me up by my scruff, and it's holding me up. Although that voice, I will recognize it anywhere. This situation actually brings back some memories. What do you think you're doing? You know, I could ask you the same. Please put me down. You're embarrassing me. It worked once, but thankfully it does as I say, safely placing me back on the ground. I clean the non-existent dust off out of my shoulder and adjust my cloak. That's why I noticed all the eyes locked on us. I blushed deeply after the humiliation that I had been put through, but I decided to swallow it down and say nothing to the wolf, for the sake of not making a bigger scene. Did he catch him? Does he have it? A tiger comes running and catches up to us. He seems to be out of breath as he takes a moment to calm himself. I look back at Rodrick, who just has his signature annoyed expression on his face. Directed to me, of course. Let's just go back to your boat for now, shall we? Ah, I see. So you know this person. That's correct. He can't be the thief. Not the first time someone has accused me of something like that, although this time it feels more out of the blue. I wonder what happened. Maybe it was another white fox. As they continue talking, I just stay on the sidelines listening to what they're saying. And as far as I've gathered, this tiger guy, whose name is foreign and confusing, sells paintings. His name is Amethyst. That's just a mouthful. Well, anyway, back to the point. It seems like his most expensive painting got stolen by some burglars. And Walter's been here all morning trying to help him. Please give me a second now, sir. I must talk to my companion. Walter fakes a smile and then turns his back to the tiger, making us walk a bit further away from him. Wolf crosses his arms and then looks at me with a severe expression. Why the fuck are you here? He says he tries to keep his voice low, although he's clearly annoyed. I just wanted to know what you were doing. That's nice and all what, but didn't I tell you specifically not to come? Yeah, but that only made me more worried. My explanation clearly didn't convince him at all, since he's watching me in the most cynical expression possible. So, what's the deal with this guy? Why didn't you have to come here personally? I thought the king gave you the day off. He did, but this came out of nowhere. Besides, the guy back there is kind of a big deal. The prince himself hired him to make him a painting. You all know artists? Apparently. I personally don't see it, but that's not for me to decide. So I'm guessing, yes, the one the prince had asked for. Dang, that's unlucky. The wolf sighs as he rubs his temples. He clearly seems irritated by this whole matter. I wonder if it's because they made him work on his free day. Since you're already here, might as well make yourself useful. Keep an eye out for this cat. Convince him to stop following me around. It's annoying. But what? How will I convince him? Well, I figured that since you never shut your mouth, you would be good with your words. Hey, that's not very nice of you. I cross my arms to look at him, the annoyed expression, to which he responds with a smirk. A smirk that disappears quickly as we hear the tiger talking. "Excuse me, sir. Are you two done?" The tiger seems a little nervous. He's rubbing his paws one against the other, and his tail is twisting from side to side. I mean, I would probably be nervous too if I just got the work of my life stolen. Keep him here. I'm off. The wolf whispers before patting my back and walking off. The tiger man tries to follow behind him by stopping with one of my paws. "How about we wait for him here, sir? I'll keep you company. But what if he needs my help?" "Walter will be fine on his own, sir. I assure you he's the most competent knight for the job. He's a captain after all." "Shall we sit?" The tiger looks anxious, but I try to be as reassuring as I can. He eventually gives up his idea to follow behind the wolf and goes to sit with me. It just took me like 10 seconds to convince him. Luckily, Rodrick is not a church social worker. He could starve. Anyway, taking the merchant back to the shop, I managed to notice some things about him. He's obviously a tiger, given all the stripes on his body. Although, I hope I'm not just assuming. I haven't seen that many felines. But it's not the only thing that caught my attention. His way of dressing is also very interesting. It just looks very expensive and uncomfortable, adjectives that are normally used to refer to the noble's clothing. So this guy must be really a big deal. He doesn't behave like a noble at all, though. There's not that annoying noble-like aura around him, which makes me wonder if he became rich or if he was born to it. But that doesn't matter much now, does it? I wonder if Rodrick will be able to retrieve that painting. I wish I could help. Now that I think about it, since we're not doing much, we could ask him directly what happened. I know my way around this area, so perhaps I can be of some assistance. Now let's give it a try. So Mr. Atakuchi. The tiger looks at me with a nervous expression. Actually, it's Atochi. The tiger says with a kind smile on his face, probably used to people mispronouncing. "Oh, sorry, Sir Atochi. Mind if I ask you a few questions?" "Oh, am I in trouble?" The tiger rubs his paws again, clearly worried that he made some sort of mistake. I mean, I can understand him to some degree. Being in a foreign nation must be stressful, especially one like ours. If we have a decent relationship with the cats, we canines can be quite intimidating at times. No, I just want to ask you about what happened." "Okay." That was easier than I thought. What should I ask him? So about the painting, what does it look like? "Oh, well, it's just a simple painting of Mount Goro." "Mount Goro? It's the highest mountain on our island. It's quite beautiful, really. A white peak that makes a perfect contrast with the green trees that grow on its feet. One magnificent art of nature that I humbly tried to recreate in that painting." Now that's odd. Why would the prince of the Canine Kingdom want the painting of a mountain only found in Thania? Could it be a political move? Maybe he's trying to express his admiration for the feline culture by acquiring such a piece of art. Personally, I think it's a good move. Having a good political relationship with the feline nation could bring good things. Where were you when the theft took place? I was here on the same post. The painting was laying there with the others. I thought it was an important painting, so why not place it in a safer spot? Well, I had been told about the dangers of this area, so I thought that if a project stood out above the others, it would be easier for the thieves to pinpoint which to steal. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Smugglers tend to analyze their prey before attacking. they check if the merchant takes special care of a certain object, how the merchant behaves, how careful he is with his cargo. Every piece of information is key for any good thief. I would know. So, you said you were here when it happened, but then how did they steal it from you? Oh, that. It's a little embarrassing, honestly. You see, I usually eat my own homemade lunch myself, but today I couldn't find any of my packed bentos. So I couldn't resist the wonderful smell of that stall over there. So Anto points towards a merchant that was happily selling his grilled fish. But the food was so heavy that it made me feel really tired all of a sudden. So I rested my head on the counter for a split second, and the next thing I know, my beautiful painting is gone. It sounds like someone poisoned his food with droplets of valerian, a very strong herb that induces sleep. Luckily for me, I saw him in the corner of my eye. The sneaking bastard had stolen it. And you saw who did it? Only the back of him. I didn't get a good look. Sounds like they had it all planned for the start. But that does make me wonder, is that guy from the food stall related to the theft in some way? I should probably interrogate him just in case. What did he look like? What do you mean? The person who stole your painting. What did he look like? Did he have white fur like me? Was he short? Tiger puts his paw on his chin and looks up, trying to remember any possible detail. Then his eyes light up and he points to my cloak. Well, I didn't get a good look at him, but I know one thing for sure. The thief had that exact same cloak. The same color and everything. Are you certain? Yes, completely sure. That's quite interesting. I mean, there's always a possibility those idiots are involved. And since Sir Otto is so sure of what he saw, it might be worth it to go and try talking to those assholes. After all, only 5 people own these cloaks. Hugo made them himself when he formed the gang. 1 for me, 1 for Pat, 1 for Lewis, and other for Luna. And last one for him. So yeah, their involvement is entirely possible if Sir Otto is right. Although I honestly hope they're not. After what happened yesterday, I don't want to see Pat's face. And Hugo could be there too. That's a box I don't want to open. So please, goddesses, if you really are real, please don't let those idiots be involved like this. Alright, I think I'm done for now. Seems like I have weed. The tiger puts his paw on his chin and looks up, trying to remember any possible detail. His eyes light up and he points to my cloak. Well, I didn't get a good look at him, but I know one thing for sure. The thief had that exact same cloak. The same color and everything. Are you certain? Yes, completely sure. That's quite interesting. I mean, there's always a possibility those idiots are involved. And since Sir Otto is so sure of what he saw, it might be worth it to go and try to talk to those assholes. After all, only 5 people own these cloaks. Hugo made them himself when he formed the gang. 1 for me, 1 for Pat, 1 for Lewis, and other for Luna. And the last one for him. So yeah, their involvement is entirely possible if Sir Otto is right. Although I honestly hope they're not. After what happened yesterday, I don't want to see Pat's face. And Hugo could be there too. That's the bosses don't want to open. So please, goddesses, if we really are real, please don't let those idiots be involved in this. Alright, I think I'm done for now. Seems like I had a lead. I happily announced to Sir Otto, who doesn't look too sure about my newfound confidence. A lead, but I told the same thing that night, and he said that I was not helpful. Again, Rodrick's social skills surprised me. It's fine, so I told Chi, you have nothing to worry about. The white fox is on the case. I'll bring back your painting, I promise. Sure. Fighting? The talker says with his fists up, making me wonder if that's supposed to make me feel better. But it doesn't matter. It's probably a feline thing. So, I'm off, Sir Otto. Be careful with the rest of your cargo. Don't eat anything suspicious. If you're hungry, buy a fish and grill it yourself. Sir Otto didn't get to say anything else as I happily jogged towards the food stall. I'm ready to put my low street skills to good use, and for a good cause for the first time. After bribing the vendor and sweet talking him into giving me information, I found out that he indeed put some valerian water into the fish. He also confirmed that Hugo is involved. Unlucky for me. So now I just need to find that idiot. A task that shouldn't be too hard since I know where the hideout is. And as a matter of fact, I'm standing in front of a certain abandoned building which is used to hide all the stolen goods. My hands are a little shaky, as seeing Hugo is the last thing that I wanted to do. But I'm doing this for a good cause, so I gather all the courage that I can muster and perform the secret knocking. A silly code that Hugo came up with to make sure only members of the gang enter this place. I take a deep breath and wait for the door to unlock, which takes a few minutes, but it eventually does. The inside of this abandoned building hasn't changed one bit. The walls are as broken as always, but most of the holes in them are covered by many ripped sheets and banners that we had stolen. But the light still manages to enter through some gaps on the roof and walls. The floor creaks with every step I take, and the smell of dust is ever so present. I look around the house, and right in the middle, sitting on his homemade throne, is the king of our gang, Hugo. My eyes must be deceiving me. I never thought I would see your pretty face ever again. Hugo is a red and white husky with a curly tail and a nasty scar on the left side of his face, which he covers with his hair. The feeling is mutual. After you left me to die, I never thought I would see you again. The dog laughs at my soft response, clearly not taking my anger seriously. As per usual. Oh, come on, White. You can't possibly still be mad about such a silly mistake. Pat just got a little scared. Can you blame the poor guy? Besides, I made sure he learned his lesson. Is that White Pat? The small jackal steps out of the saddles with a submissive look on his face. He looks at us with his head lowered and his tail tucked between his legs. Yes, I learned my lesson. See, he's so sorry about it. How can he still be mad at a face like that? Hugo has a smile on his muzzle the whole time, trying to diffuse any sort of bad blood between Pat and me. Pat, you can go. Give the adults some privacy. Yeah, whatever. Pat steps into his corner again, vanishing into the dark as quickly as he came. Hugo, on the other hand, stands up from his seat and then walks towards me, closing the distance between us. So, to what do I owe you the pleasure? I really missed you. Hugo places his paw on my cheek, sitting a shiver down my spine. A familiar touch that I've used to love, but after what happened, it scares me. I slap his hand away and keep a stone-hard composure, even as if I feel it's really tiny compared to this big male. I see you still have it in you, that fire that I like so much. Cut the crap, Hugo. You know I'm not here for a petty reunion. It's just the same. I would have invited you to eat something. It gets closer and I take a step back. We repeat this until my back touches the wall. The dog puts his left paw beside my head and uses his right paw to lift my chin, forcing me to look into his blue eyes. Talk, puppy. I'm all ears. I can feel my hands sweating, my heartbeat rising, and lungs getting out of my chest. Hugo's always had this effect on me. He knows how to hit the right spots to make me dance in the palm of his hand. So frustrating. If had gold coin every time you sit your pants whenever you face a new challenge, that I would probably be richer than the king himself. He's right. I can't be scared all the time. I need to grow some balls. I look at Hugo dead serious, not being intimidated anymore, and say, I'm here for the painting you stole, Hugo. Give it back. Oh, my puppy works for that royal trash now. So I'll call you Sir Ellie now. Call me whatever you like, Hugo, but that painting is important and you can't have it. Says who? Says me. Hugo seems a little taken aback by my strong resolve, but he's playing his cards well, because he doesn't allow himself to be intimidated either. You know, this is what I like about you. You're such a strong little puppy, and that strength used to be mine when you were by my side. So tell me, is there something I could do for you to come back to me? Hugo, stop it. It's not like that anymore. Oh, come on, puppy. Can't you give this dog another chance? I promise I'll be better this time. Just remember all those good times we spent together. Are you really going to waste all those years in a stupid painting? I mean it, man. Back off. We're done. Oh, are we? Because I'm just starting. Hugo's body heat was getting more and more unbearable. He was so close to me that I could feel his hot breath hitting against my nose. His sentence just as I remember, strong and masculine with a fading aroma of powder. Just one kiss, puppy. You'll be mine again. You'll see. As Hugo was closing in on the gap between our lips. A loud bang makes the whole house tremble. We both look towards the sound, and to my surprise I see Rodrick standing by the entrance. The wolf is out of breath and a little sweaty, as if he had been running for a while. Finally found you, you little rat. The wolf has an angry expression on his face as he enters the building. Me and Hugo just stare at him. None of us dare to move an inch into the dog. Shit. Hugo tries to grab the smoke bombs that he carries in his back pocket, but as he's about to throw them, my instincts kick in and I hold his arms tight. Puppy. Hugo looks at me with a devastated expression, which soon turns to anger. But before he can do anything, the wolf launches at him and pins him to the ground. The dog struggles, but as I know well, breaking free from Rodrick's iron grip is impossible. Eventually, after a few minutes of struggling, he calms down and accepts his fate. He looks at me with a sad expression, and I can't help but shiver. You come with me, and we'll talk about this later. Rodrick says to me, but I can hardly process what he just told me. Did I really just do that? Did I really betray the only lover that I've ever had? So you really are working for them now. You disappoint me, White. To think that you would wag your tail for these bastards. But I know who you are, White. You can pretend to be a decent citizen all you want, but that's not you at all. Don't forget, White, you're mine. You don't belong with them. Finally, the wolf gets tired of Hugo running his mouth, so he decides to take the dog with him. Retrieve the painting, What? We'll meet up with Sir Alto's stall. The wolf musters his last order before taking Hugo with him, and as they leave, I remain there for at least half an hour before retrieving the painting. Oh, my sweet painting, you have returned to me. Thank you so much, both of you. May the goddesses Yume give you good fortune. Otto seems happy to have his work back. As for me, I haven't said a word since Rodrick arrested Hugo. I just don't know what to say at this point. Yes, Hugo's an asshole, but we used to be friends. More than friends. He taught me how to survive in these city streets. He was the first person who seemed interested in me. He was the first with whom I shared my body with. So even if he's an asshole, I shouldn't have betrayed him like that. Anyway, gentlemen, it was a pleasure, but I'm quite tired. So if you'll excuse me, Sir Arthur waves at us, and then returns to his boat, taking all his paintings with him. Once he's gone, Rodrick turns his gaze to me, looking at me with a puzzled expression. You knew him, didn't you? I nodded and I wanted to explain my past to Rodrick, or anyone for that matter. I just want to forget. You did the right thing once. You know that, right? For the second time, you've demonstrated your worth to me once. You see, it's not so easy, okay? He was my friend, and I betrayed him. What does that say about me? I'm not trustworthy. I'm trash. We both remained in silence after I finished my ranting. I don't even know if he cares about anything I just said, but I wanted to get it off of my chest. We can't change what we did or who we used to be. The past will always be there. The mistakes we made will always be there, haunting you until the day you die. So all there's left to do is to go forward and try to atone. You are the king's retainer now. You belong by his son. Same as me. Same as the colors. And even that moron, Almond. Believe what you must, but I think you've earned your spot. You are one of us. With that said, the wolf walks past me and past my shoulder. Also, you're on the right side of the law this time. You are given a second chance to make things right. Don't waste it with self-pity. I listen carefully to his words. I know he means well by them, and that he's somehow trying to cheer me up, but that knot in my stomach hasn't vanished yet. But still, there's something I must do. I can't delay it any further. So putting on my bravest face, I follow behind the wolf. I've always felt a certain disdain towards the church. Maybe it's because my mom never inspired me to be a believer, or rather because homosexuality is a punishable sin, and according to them, this is kind of fucked up considering I am one. In any case, I'm not here to discuss if I'm going to the sacred garden, or I'll walk away in a great void. I've never been in such a big temple before. Most of the towns I've been in are quite small compared to this one. I say to Rodrick, making a small conversation with him. This is the second biggest in the entire continent. What's the first? The one situated in Sigma, the capital of Colonia. It's the second biggest city in the Canine Empire, and it's only populated by church members. In the middle of it, an even bigger temple was built hundreds of years ago. You sure know a lot about church, Rodrick. Are you a believer yourself? It's basic knowledge once. Now set your trap. People are trying to pray. He was right. Some of the visitors were giving us nasty looks, so I decided to be respectful and remain quiet. Rodrick has kept his arms crossed the entire time we've been here, and the severe expression on his face makes me wonder if he also feels uncomfortable being here. Or maybe that's how he always is, and I'm reading too much into it. Excuse me, brothers. Father Flavio will now meet with you. If you could, please follow that hall to the left. A small dark nun calls for us and indicates where we must go. It took a good hour of waiting, but it seems like they're finally giving us the time of the day. Let's get this over with, Rodrick says as he starts walking in the direction the nun indicated. We enter a small room that has a few benches and a smaller altar, so I'm guessing this one is used for more private ceremonies. By the altar, a dog in robes is waiting for us with a smile. Father Flavio, I presume. My sons, I must apologize. Have kept you waiting. There was some business that I had to attend to, but that doesn't matter now. Please tell me what I may. Father Flavio's eyes land on me, and for a second it seems like he saw a ghost. I barely noticed it, but it was there for sure. Do you? The man seems friendly enough, but something about his forced smile gives me the heebie-jeebies. But that doesn't matter now. I have to make this man answer as many questions as I can. I can't waste this opportunity. Father, Father Flavia, I presume. Before I can even speak, Rodrick jumps into the conversation, which is something I honestly didn't expect him to do. Yes, my son, I am. And you two are? My name is Sir Rodrick, and this man beside me is Sir Ellie. We are both King Awalas's retainers. We appreciate your time, so we won't waste it. Sir Rodrick, no need for such formalities. Take all the time you need. Although when I was told a messenger from the king was coming to pay us a visit, I was not expecting such guests as yourselves. So he knew we were coming. But how? No one aside from me, Rodrick, and the king himself knew about this. If I had known, I would have made some tea. The man giggles at his own comment, keeping his eyes fixated on Rodrick. I ask again, though, what may I do for you, my sons? There's a concerning matter that has been brought to our attention, and the king wishes to know if the church knows about this. Oh, and what might that be? Rodrick slaps my back and pushes me forward, giving me the okay to talk. I feel like such a kid right now. Father, we're here to discuss this. I take the medal out of my pocket and show it to him. The man seems unfazed by it as he keeps his smile still. Did you come to return it? How kind of you, Brother Ellie. No, we're not here to return it. We want to know what this is. It's a church medal. Are you familiar with the way our magnificent organization works? I can't say I am. Allow me to explain them. In our church, there are 3 main jobs that must be done to keep it running. We need people to spread the grace of our goddesses to the less fortunate. Those are the missionaries. They make sure to do social work and help others. We also need people to protect our precious church from evildoers. The ones that do that are called the Crusaders. Am I right, Sir Rodrick? The wolf doesn't respond to Father Flavio. He just remains silent and looks away. And lastly, there are people who make sure to keep the church running from the inside, performing the sacred rites and organizing the researches. The priestess is myself. So after hearing all this, I must tell you that to some of us who reach a high rank within the church, medals like that are given. And I'm sure the owner of the one you have in your hand will be glad to have it back. It's quite a tragedy to lose your medal, since it's a sacred object that signifies your status in this wonderful community. That's nice and all, but we're not giving it to you. No, of course you're not. May you tell me where you found that medal, my son? I took it from my murderer. I saved her dead. She was tone and expressing, as finally managed to shake the happy expression off his face. I'm done playing around. Even if we're here on behalf of the king, this man is clearly not taking us seriously, and I'm having none of that. That is awful. But I must assure you, none of the believers would dare do such a thing. If you say the symbol doesn't match, then it must have been someone from outside the church. He does have a point. If the symbol doesn't match, then maybe they're not. Did we ever mention the symbol not matching? What? Of course you did. Really? Because I don't remember. You didn't? I guess I just assumed. You assumed, huh? Odd thing, isn't it? Why is your nose all of a sudden, Father? He's right. His calm demeanor has changed completely, and now he even smells a little sweaty. Is Rodrick intimidating him? No, that can't be. Well, you're here accusing our sacred community of a hideous crime. We never accused you of anything, Father. My partner just said he was attacked by the owner of that medal. Rodrick turns around and walks towards the entrance, leaving me by myself with Father Flavio. Wait a second. What is he doing? We have them right where we want. Why leave now? Let's go, Sir Ellie. Seems like our conversation is over. And Father, please look into the possibility of another organization making those fake medals. The king will be expecting a report. With that said, he turns the corner and leaves. I decided to follow, even when I'm not happy about it at all. What the hell is wrong here? We had him. He was cracking. We just had to push a little harder. We could have gotten so much information out of him. What, are you ready to face an organization as powerful as the church? A single word from him, and that man could have put us in chains, whipped us, and then execute us. What, wouldn't they get in trouble for doing that? I mean, we're the king's retainers. They would, but before the king could lift a finger to help us, we would be dead already. We would be accused of some crime and undergo trial less than a day. No way. So, I'll ask you a serious question, and you better answer honestly. Is your will strong enough to keep you fighting until the end? What? Are you ready to face them with all you got? Because they will destroy you without a second thought. Will you fight? I will. I said without hesitation, my fists clenching and my teeth gritting. I don't care how much he tries to scare me. I will do anything to find her. Even if I have to give my life, I will see my goal accomplished. They will crush you. They've done to so many others, and they will do it again. Your tiny life means nothing to them. I don't care. I'm ready for anything they throw at me. The wolf sighs and places his arms on his hips, looking at me with an unsure expression. Just as I feared, you're more stupid than you look. His eyes are burning a hole through my skull, and for a moment I fear that he's going to try to stop me, but then he grins. Which means that you might need my help. I will help you uncover the truth behind that metal. But in turn, I want you to live your tiny life with your head held high. You are the king's sword and shield. You will give your life to protect him. Am I clear? Yes, sir. All right then, let's go back to the inn. We must get ready for the ball. As Rodrick says that, he has already turned his back on me, walking down the street. The view his broad back inspires something that I haven't felt in a while, and honestly, I never thought I would feel it again. Hope. I have some disturbing news to share with you. Now you're worrying me, boss. What could be disturbing enough to disturb you? Snake sent a dead glare to Crow, silently asking him to shut the fuck up, which he does. The kid's alive, and he's here in the city. Kid, can you elaborate? The kid that you were supposed to kill that night, the kid that you assured me was dead. 11 years ago, remember? The night of our greatest screw-up. Small Dog said with a completely serious expression, angry some would say. Crow just stared at his boss for a few seconds and then laughed. Oh, that kid. Good one, boss. I stabbed him right through the heart, so there's no way in the void that kid still lives. I saw him with my very own eyes. He's here. And to make it worse, he's a king's newest retainer. He's already making inquiries. No way. Yes, Crow, I'm being serious. No way, man. You can't pull that kind of joke on me. Come on, be serious. I already told you. I'm being serious. We need to deal with this kid. Snake said with a certain glint in his eye, a glint that made even the big Crow shiver a little. Silence sat between the two of them for a long minute before Crow broke it with a simple yet complicated question. But how? I don't know. I'm still trying to process what I saw. Silence again. The two of them looked at each other with a conflicted expression on their eye. That carried on for a few minutes until... Yeah, I'll save this now. So I decided to play that same part where they meet, because I skipped the part for Acalis. I played everything for Almond, but I skipped the part for Acalis, but I decided to play this part for Rodrick because Snake goes and tells Crow that Ellie is still alive, and that he knew it was Ellie, the kid who was still alive, because of the medallion that he sold to him. So I decided to play that part. So when Ellie saw that medallion, or what it's called, that's when Snake knew that this kid that he thought they killed 11 years ago was still alive. Because when Ellie sold him that medallion, he got really uncomfortable and that he wanted to take it from him. But Ellie wouldn't do that. He wouldn't let Snake take it. And he tried to play dumb or innocent by saying that the church would never do that, which we know is a lie. So yeah, so back of that part in the end when Ellie touched Rodrick, he has a habit of getting he has a habit of somehow making some things worse. There's some things in his head that tells him to do something, and he just does it even though he knows that's not the right thing. So he, like when his friend told him to help them in stealing from the king, where he knew it was wrong, but he got convinced into going with his friend, what's his name, I forgot, but he knew it was wrong, but decided to go anyway because, in his mind, hey, if you take this stuff from the king, then he and his father will be set for life. So one of the things that when he touched Walter's back like that, he knows that it's wrong, but his mind kind of tells him to do it, so he does it. And that really made Rodrick mad at first, but he just shrugged it off. That big scar on Rodrick's back. That was probably something that he got in a war. I don't know how he got it, but I guess it was during the war, because he said he lost some people he cared about in the war, some colleagues. That was, so he really crossed boundaries by touching Rodrick's back. Now, since that fight that Ellie won, Rodrick has slowly started to gain some respect for Ellie, and let's just aim, lets it go. So he's gained a lot of respect for Ellie. Well, not a lot, but he slowly began to gain some respect for Ellie since he won that fight, and after Ellie managed to return that painting to that tiger, he gained even more respect for Rodrick. And he felt that he betrayed his friend We live in a busy area here, so a lot of ambulances and sirens everywhere. So. Okay, so he felt that he betrayed his friend, the big guy that was the leader of the group, the gang, and Rodrick told him that he did the right thing and that while he may be ashamed of what he did, it's something he has to deal with. Everybody has to deal with what they've done in the past, and that they should try to move on and make things better for themselves and others in the future. So, Rodrick has gained a lot of respect for Ellie, and that he does not hold any malice towards what he did anymore. So we complete Rodrick's route with Ellie fully earning Rodrick's respect, which is a good thing. So we also get to see a little bit of a softer side of Rodrick, a little softer, not a whole lot, but a little bit of softer side, like when he offered, in the end, when he offered to take a look at Ellie to see if his nose was broke or if his nose was hurting, and as well as when he consoled Ellie in Mrs. Biscotti's store after he caught Pat trying to steal from his adoptive father's store. So we got to see a little bit of the soft side of Rodrick. A little bit. So we also got to see for the first time a non-canine. That tiger who drew paintings and was going to give his painting to the prince. Yeah, so he's the first feline that we got to see. And it seems that their culture is very similar to Japan, because it was mentioned that they have a shogun or shoguns anyway. Those are like the military rulers that govern Japan. So I wonder if we'll see other felines eventually, and will we see any of the birds, the bird people? Will we see any of them in the future? Now, they're going to attend a ball for the prince, so we might see some dignitaries from the feline and bird empires. Maybe. That's what I'm guessing, but so we always saw a feline, so hopefully we'll see a bird eventually. So we're done with everything in Heart of Amethyst so far, so thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.